What happens if Greenland and Antarctica's ice melts? Imagine waking up one morning and the coastline of the world has changed. Cities you recognize, New York, Miami, London, Shanghai, now partly underwater. Ports gone. Islands erased. Millions forced to move. This isn't science fiction. This is the real-world question scientists are urgently asking. What happens if the massive ice sheets of Greenland and Antarctica melt? We're not just talking about rising water. We're talking about a chain reaction, a global domino effect that reshapes coastlines, weather, food, economies, and even political borders. This wouldn't happen overnight, but parts of these ice sheets are already melting faster than scientists predicted. Some glaciers are now thought to be past the point of no return. That means even if we stopped all carbon emissions today, some melting would still continue. The first consequence is sea level rise, but not just a few inches. We're talking about permanent flooding of coastal cities. Entire regions of countries like Bangladesh, the Netherlands, Florida, and Pacific Island nations would become unlivable. But flooding isn't the only problem. As ice melts, it dumps huge amounts of fresh water into salty oceans. This can weaken ocean currents, including the Atlantic system that helps regulate climate across Europe and North America. If that system slows down, Europe could become colder, storm patterns could intensify, and rainfall zones could shift, and the planet's thermostat starts malfunctioning. Ice doesn't just reflect sunlight, it helps cool the planet. When ice disappears, darker ocean and land absorb more heat. That creates a feedback loop. More heat, more melting, more heat again. This could mean stronger hurricanes, longer droughts, more intense heat waves, and unpredictable rainfall. Farming becomes harder. Water shortages increase. Food prices rise. So melting ice in the Arctic doesn't stay in the Arctic. It shows up in your grocery bill as a domino effect. Now imagine tens of millions, possibly hundreds of millions, of people losing their homes to rising seas. Where do they go? Inland cities would grow fast and crowding looms. Borders would be stressed. Housing, jobs, and healthcare systems would be overwhelmed. History shows that when large populations are displaced suddenly, political instability often follows. Conflicts over land, water, and food become more likely. So ice melting isn't just an environmental issue, it becomes a human security crisis. For animals adapted to ice such as polar bears, seals, penguins, shrinking habitats mean fewer places to hunt and breed for them. But the impact spreads further. Ocean ecosystems rely on cold water currents and nutrient cycles driven by polar ice. When those systems change, fish populations shift, coral reefs suffer, and entire food chains get disrupted. That means global fishing industries and food supply are affected too. This isn't just about saving animals, it's about protecting the ecosystems that we as humans are also a part of. That's why climate scientists keep using the same word: urgency. Because once these giant ice systems destabilize, there is no emergency brake and a possibility of no turning back. Here's the hopeful part. Slowing global warming slows ice melt. Every fraction of a degree matters. That means clean energy, better efficiency, protecting forests, smarter city planning, and coastal defenses all plays a part and matter as a whole. Some countries are already redesigning infrastructure to prepare for rising seas, but adaptation alone isn't enough. Without cutting emissions and taking concerted effort as a whole, we're not just mopping the floor, we're leaving the faucet running. Greenland and Antarctica may feel far away, but their ice holds the future shape of our world. The maps our children grow up with, the cities that will go underwater, the coastlines that disappear, they're being decided right now. This isn't about panic. It's about understanding what's at stake and realizing that the story of melting ice is really the story of us. And it is a threat, because what happens at the poles doesn't stay at the poles. It comes home and will very well hit home.